How's it going, everybody? My name is Will Robson, and you can check out my work at facebook.com/RobsonInc or on Twitter at RobsonInc. So today, I know it's been a little while since I've had a video up, but I've been very busy. I'm trying to hit Meta Rising, which I need to get done by Thought Bubble. So if any of you guys are going to be going to Thought Bubble this year, then come by the Meta Rising booth. I don't know the number yet, but I'll also be there with John Lees, the writer of the Standard, and I'll do some signing for the Standard and stuff like that, so that'll be fun. So what I'm working on right now is what I did work on was page 15 of Todd, or Time of Death. This book, I'll have all the line work done in about a month. I'm on page 15. I think it's like a 25-page book, and I got to do a cover as well. So I still have, I think, 11 pages left. Yeah. So what's happening in this page is a guy has just died, and things are getting a bit weird where he is, and suddenly the Grim Reaper shows up. Although if you read the book, you'll realize it's not the Grim Reaper, but that's besides the point. So what am I doing here? I think I was just testing my pencil. So I decided to do this big panel first. I wanted it to sort of be panelless, so it seemed bigger, and I wanted his arm to stick out in front of the panel, the Grim Reaper's arm. And my Grim Reaper's a bit different. I made him a bit more Spawn-like, where I give him these massive chains. I try and do like the hood, like the way Todd McFarlane drew Hobgoblin. I always loved that. It was really always been a big inspiration to me, the way he drew Hobgoblin. And then a face like what's his name, Ghost Rider. So that was basically my Grim Reaper. And you see every now and then a pop-up of the character design I did for it. So sometimes I do like to do this, where I just draw like a head separately from where I'm actually drawing it, so there's not so much cluttered space of everything else, and then I'll take it and I'll plop it in and see if it fits. I don't know if I keep this head. Oh no, I do keep this head. See, I'd like to do something like that, so then I can just plop it in, see where it fits inside the hood, because the hood's sort of just its own object, really, separate from the head. So now I'm just drawing in some random chains. I didn't need to go in this much detail with the chains, so I'm going to use a material brush that's built into Manga Studio 4, but you can import your Manga Studio 4 materials into Manga Studio 5. So that's what I'm doing with that. The one thing I hate about this page is that guy's head at the bottom there. His forehead's massive, like the top of the head's way too long, and it gets a little too late in the point of correction for me to fix it. I wish I noticed it early on, but sadly I didn't. So this first part of the video is just going to be me penciling this page, and you're going to just see how rough my pencils actually are. If you watched any of my past videos, I did 2 videos where I talked about I was doing heavily detailed pencils, but that was adding like an extra 8 hours to my workflow, and I wasn't earning as much money at the end of the month, so I just had to go back to this digital workflow of rough pencils straight into inks. And that's all to do with how confident you are in using it. And not to say that I'm completely confident with the way I draw, but I'm getting better. Every 3 months I'd say I see a massive jump in my work, just sort of seeing form a bit better, and being able to lay out these faces like this with all these lines in them. It's slowly getting easier and easier to sit down and do my work without so much guesswork, which is exciting, because that's sort of the journey that you need to take as an artist. So here, the first panel, I have these 2 characters. All the other pages, they've been walking around a hospital, and they got into a lift on the past page, so you see them getting into the lift. And then Todd, who's the character that's on the right, the screen's flipped right now, the guy in this panel, it starts telling a story about this Grim Reaper. And then it cuts excuse me, my throat's funny this morning, excuse me. And then it cuts to the scene with the old man and a weird close-up. I wish I didn't do a close-up. I was on a live stream with John Rector where I showed this page and people gave me some good tips on it. I mean, it's too far gone to go back and correct all this stuff now. The page still looks great, and you're going to see me, when we get to the inks, try out a new rendering style where I just sort of, with colorists I've worked with recently, I feel like they obviously don't understand fully what I'm trying to do with the way that, the art should look, as in the way the shading should be, and that's because I leave a lot of space blank and I just assume that they know what I'm going for, when really I'm the only one that understands. So with this page I just did fully fleshed rendering, and I did that, I was able to get away with that where it's not so much elsewhere in the book, because it is sort of a dreamy scene where this Grim Reaper comes. So hopefully we'll just I can lean into it a bit. And it does take extra time. I think it adds about 3 hours extra, or no, way more than that, maybe 5 hours extra to a page. But I'm only going to choose it on certain panels where it needs it. For instance, this first panel I keep pretty low key with rendering, where the rest of the panels I really render them out, just because it has to do with the scene. So what you see me do there, I'm using a soft eraser to just erase my rough pencils I've chucked in, just so I can keep sort of an underline of what's still there. And that's what I would do traditionally anyway. I would just sort of soft erase with a kneaded eraser around that area, and then start penciling in. I also like to say that I'm starting 2 new things. I think I'm going to be teaching seminars on Skillshare, so I'll keep you guys updated on that. Well, I'll do courses, and because I get so many questions on like how to draw hair and how to draw this and that, and if you watch my channel, it's not really a how to draw channel, it's more of this is my progression as I go. But I'd like to do that in a way and do something different, so I'll let you keep you guys updated on Skillshare, and you'll find all that information if you go to my Facebook, which is in the link obviously there below. And then the other news is that I'm writing books as well. The first book I'm writing is going to be about how to sort of start drawing comics at an independent level, because I get asked that question a lot as well. I'll give you resources and sites and how to network and how to keep in contact with editors from Comic-Cons, and how to even be brave enough to go to the Comic-Cons, what editors are looking at for Comic-Cons, because I've had some success with IDW and stuff like that, so I thought I could help out in that sense. And then I'll be doing a few more book series after that, and then I want to make a massive mega book that's basically everything you need to know about drawing comics, and it's going to have anything you could think about, questions about hair, vehicles, rendering, shading, lighting, form, anatomy, figure drawing, backgrounds, trees, buildings, everything. It's going to be the massive, end-all book, because I know that when I was starting out, I wanted to find that holy grail of a book that teaches you everything, and it's just not out there on the market because it's just a lot of work. But I figured if I make a bunch of small book series first and then sort of combine all of them, then that's a good idea. So let me know if you guys think that's a good idea and if you'd be interested in that. I might try and set up what John Rector has as well, which is a what's it called, like pay something, where or you can be a supporter, and then I'll give rewards like my pencils that I've made, all my custom brushes, and my books, and that will be for people that sort of donate and help me sort of draw comics. Anyway, so that's all that plugging stuff, so let's get back to what I'm drawing here. If you see I made a mistake on this panel, I drew a head massive, and then what I usually do is when I'm just drawing like this, I'll try and make the hands match the head, so you'll see that she's got huge arms and a big head and a tiny body, and I think I try and slowly fix it. She's obviously a lot bigger than the old woman in the foreground. And again, this is another weird laid out panel because I've got his face in the foreground in panel 2 in a close-up, and then in panel 3 we sort of flipped the camera, we broke the 180-degree rule. But I wanted to break these rules because it's supposed to be an odd scene. It's supposed to be this guy's passing on to the afterworld, so I wanted it to be a bit confusing and a bit weird. If you've seen that panel, was it 1, 2, 3, 4? In panel 4, the room looks really long, and I wanted you to feel like the room is just stretching and sort of, life is obviously leaving him before he talks to the Grim Reaper. So what am I doing here? Just chucking in some scratches, it looks like. I think I was going to see if I should black out the Grim Reaper's face, because the whole thing about the Jaws effect is if you show the monster at once, then it's not as scary, but it's hard to scare someone with a comic. You can't do jump scares or have something really creepy moving quickly. It's sort of a static image, so it's a bit difficult. So I just went with the full face in the end. I've got this old dude here in his little gown, his little hospital gown. And as you can see how he's sort of down there and then they're all the way up there. It's a weird camera angle, like it's a Dutch tilt as well. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm just talking about film terms of camera shots, because I went to film school, and honestly that it really helped me be a visual storyteller, because I studied cinematography and screenwriting, so it's pretty much like studying how to draw comics in a different sense. So if you want to go to school for something, you want to draw comics, I recommend going to film school. So I've got this old lady that's crying because her husband's dead, and she's walking out the room, and then the nurse is walking her out. And did I do a video? Yeah, if you watch the video of the scene where the girl gets killed, that's the same girl right there. That's enough spoilers, though. I want you guys to read the book. I don't know when this book's going to be out, because the writer is a colorist as well, and he's got to catch up coloring the whole book. I think he's only colored 3 or 4 pages. So I'm calling you out, Alan. Got to finish that up. But Meta Rising issue 1 is going to be out for Thought Bubble, which I think is around November 11th or 16th or something like that. And all these things will be available digitally, and again, you check on my Facebook and I'll be plugging the hell out of all of it. So this page is pretty much good to go into inks, so catch the next video where I start inking. Alright, thanks for watching everybody. You can check out my work at facebook.com/RobsonInk or on Twitter @RobsonInk. Bye bye.